Whose identity are you taking on? Hey, I'm Yosha and I make self-help videos here on YouTube for an amazing life through conscious awareness. Identity is a very strong word. We humans relate to it really strongly. It's very important to us, right? We are identified by our work, our name, of where we come from, where we live, what are our values. Every single thing that we do or we experience contributes to an identity of a unique one. And now let me ask you this, are you really living your identity, or do you think you want to be a certain person but you get stuck every single time in seeking validation? Yes, validation, that's very important, right? Because we usually like impressing our friends, our families, everyone we know around us, because when they say, oh, you do good, we feel motivated and we feel good. Nothing wrong about that. We can always take inputs, and people freely give us inputs thinking that it's going to serve you good. But sometimes, end of the day, you know what is good for you. You will have to live your truth, you like it or not. And the more you take on somebody else's identity, it's difficult for you to comprehend and to live with it. Well, here's the first thing. Take as much as input you need from people. And as I said, people do those things because they genuinely love and care for us, because they do not want us to mess up. But end of the day, who are you? If I were to do, if you were to do the same things that our previous generation did, it's at this point, it's not even about what our generation did. It's about you feeling different from them. You've been given different times to live in. Important. You are here at a different time to live here, to experience different things, and to contribute different things to yourself and to the planet as well. Now, if we all kept doing the same thing, as I always say, where there's no evolution. Right now, it isn't even about empowerment, not about evolution. Honestly, it's about where are you? As I said, it's important for us to give, to acknowledge people. It's important for us to take feedbacks. But you would have to, at some point, let go of associating yourself with somebody else's identity. The identity could have been your culture. Your identity could have been someone that you admired. Your identity could have been even your own ancestors and your parents. But somewhere you have the desire to break free and be your own. And that's not wrong. Because, we are always taught about sin, about every single thing you do that does not align with the divine self is a sin. Well, ill-treating yourself and disrespecting yourself and living not by your authenticity is the biggest sin, if you did not know. Because now you're insulting and disrespecting the divine self within you. There's God fragment within every one of us. And if nothing works, just remember this, that every single time you're embodying somebody's identity and you take on this filter and you let people tell you this is where it's supposed to be, this is how you're supposed to do things, when will you do something that you know of? When is the time that you live your own identity, you live your choice? Because you are given all of those things. By the way, it's not even a right, it's a luxury, because you're born with it. And most times we are programmed in the society to live the opposite way and not the authentic way. We are supposed to be embracing our identity. We can, just do one thing at a time probably. Because if you told me a while ago that I would be doing this thing that I do here, I would, I still can't believe that back then I thought I would ever do this. But I am doing it. And sometimes, as I said, I push myself even on the times I don't feel like. You have to move through all the clutter and all the debris because, as I said, we are programmed, right? Ever since childhood, we take on so much without knowing that we are moving away from our divine self, our true identity, and we're always taking on. Someone says, do not do this. The society comes with limitations and rules to how to be, how to act, what to embody, what to not. We're always taking on these filters, and probably somewhere we don't even live our real identity of so many people. So many people for the longest time in their lives live by others' rules and restrictions, and this goes for any age group. I'm talking, childhood to someone who's in their mid 40s, 30s, 60s, 70s, over that, say, call it anything. Because in giving, in doing everything, in aligning with the programmings, in aligning with all of the limitations and rules and restrictions, and every single time going away, moving away, this is what it does. The end goal of all of these limitations and restrictions that you either take on from the society or from your own family, from your parents or your friends or your surrounding, is you always move away from yourself. So where this life that has been given to you, you are here for a reason. So where are you then? If all you ever want to do is comply and comply to somebody else's needs, and keep dumbing down, that's not fair. You cannot dumb down so much. If you told me something like this a few years ago, I would be like, what is this even? Isn't life about everyone else? But that's a lie. That I'm telling you, this is how we're programmed to believe, that living away from your self, that living away from your own identity is for good. The more you are away from your divine human self, the God self, that is the worst form of sin you could do, is disrespecting yourself. And disrespecting yourself goes in multiple layers. Like, identity is huge. It's not just about your name. It's not just about what you do. It's not just about, well, I'm not just about sitting here doing this or something else. I go beyond these things. People won't even know that, and it's not for people to know and to validate. I will not go up to someone and say, hey, look, validate me because I'm beyond all of these things that you think I am. It's something that's within you, inside. Because all the time you spend looking outside for childhood traumas usually come because you always seek approval from your parents right from the childhood, and you have been deprived of it. If you live by rules and restrictions a lot and your true self was not honored, that's why growing up you somewhere get lost in, this is basic psychology. You get lost. You're filled with traumas and you're very scared to explore your own self. But as you start realizing, sometimes it's not our society, sometimes it's not our parents, sometimes it's not our friends, sometimes it's us. Most of the times it's us. Because now I have a chance to change things, physically, psychologically, and that's what we need to be doing. We can change. If we can acknowledge that something isn't right, then we can also change why it has been the way it is. If no one gave you validation, does not matter, because we do not do things for validation. Because the day you start living for validation, everything will again become external, about others, and materialism. We need to move beyond all of those things. It's, as I said, ever since childhood you've been programmed, by your household, your society, to just dumb down. It's just like the rule. The more you stand up for yourself, the more you breathe and live in your identity. It does make a few people uncomfortable, but you have to go with it. There's no one ever said that you being on the right path looks right for everyone else. It could look terribly wrong, because that reflects their own fears and how far they're willing to go in life. As many amazing people say, and they've thought, if we do the same things we've always done, where are we going? Where's the evolution? You will never be able to create anything for yourself if we're always lost in validation. Sometimes it's not pretty, sometimes it's not always going to align with everyone, but you have to do what you have to do. If you fall, good. If you rise, good. Because as I say, you are an individual self, and you have to know that better and more than anything else. You cannot be lost in the chaos, because what was ever the use that we were given this body, we were given this soul, we were given this life to live? To every single amazing human being is unique, and we need to live by that. And I hope this helps. If you've been treating these validation, it does not work, because when you start looking at yourself, admiring that, oh, I never thought I could do this, but I'm doing this. When you give yourself a pat on the back, you will see how much freedom it is in your thoughts, in everything. The world starts opening up for you. And I hope it's a good factor, and I hope it benefits you. And I hope if this video has found you, I'm sending you much love, and I hope you could be everything and anything that you want in your life. And God bless you all.